Yo, hello. How are you guys doing? That's not this one. That one. It's been a while. It's not been that long. It's been the normal amount, but still, lots of things have happened since the last stream. Bitcoin bounced. Title is Bitcoin reclaims 100K. Obviously, it's now nuking. It's not really nuking, but it's back below 100K. But that doesn't really matter. We'll talk about like the whole Bitcoin move, quite strong, in an interesting area now. But we'll talk about all of that today. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. It's been so long. I mean, it's not been. It's been a couple days. But yeah, I was just about to go to bed. I am so sorry. Delta says hi. Hi, man. Good to see ya. Can you please don't FUD Solana today? Love you. I mean, Solana looks not that bad. We'll go over it. High time frame wise, obviously bad, but there's a lot of coins that look quite bad high time frame, which we're just all ignoring because we all think the market is gonna go higher. So, Don, thanks for the ETH weekly support call at 2.9K. Filled up my back there. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Love it. Love it. That's the peak of bottom, right? Yeah. Chad bought the look at that beauty. We talked about this last stream. Here it is. Look at that. The viewers of the streams held this entire market up. I can tell you that much. Absolute giga chads. Bought the Pico low. But yeah, before we start, shout out to Woo for sponsoring the show. Really appreciate their support. Their links are in the description. Go check them out if you want to. If not, also okay. But they have been amazing partners to work with. Snipe, yeah, that's a Pico bottom snipe. Giga Chad. Don, thanks for the XRP conference. Can we get $3 plus? I mean, it was at $3 plus. It's currently crossing $3 again. It's beautiful. But yeah, let's start with Bitcoin. And then go down the time frames. First, this does not belong in the monthly. Monthly is still good, like we said. Nothing to worry about there. Obviously, it always looks good at the top, but still, I'm not gonna be the cunt that says, "Hey, this looks shit because there's one red candle." Like, nah. The weekly time frame, that's where I think a lot of people got really bearish last week, because we had this like retest into nuke. And there's no real support, and that was kind of the problem, right? Like when you don't know what the fuck, where to bid and what to bid, then you start panicking, right? We talked about this in the Casual Friday show, where I was like, I mean, anything between 90 and 80 basically, and we got like 89K, and then it just bounced, right? But right now, it still hasn't closed back above that. Now resistance, right? Like this is a resistance, not a support anymore. But fingers crossed, it will, right? But right now we're still battling with that resistance, and we still don't have a support down here, right? So if this turns back down, I would expect quite a big washout of sorts. But I could also just see this be the bottom, right? And if you go on the daily time frame, that's actually excellent. Cannot hate on that. We hit the range low, we bounced, we hit it again, we washed out below it tiny bit, and then bounced back all the way to what was resistance, closed above it, and now we're sending. As long as this holds, here, we're good. One thing of note is that we're kind of like, we could be putting in lower highs, right? Like we made a high here. This is clearly a lower high. And now we're kind of like here at 100K and starting to put like starting to struggle a little bit. But I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt unless we start losing 95K, right? Like we lose the support. At that point, like how often do you want to like I mean, tested it a little bit. Like how often do you want to test it, right? Like if it comes back down, breaks this, at that point, I think we would do something like this probably. But until that is the case, I'm just going to be cautiously optimistic. The monthly the monthly is not bearish. The weekly is so-so. The daily is quite decent. I believe in the Trump pump. Yeah. Trump, please pump the bags. Marquinho says my ETH order was $10 too low. Sorry to hear that, man. Too greedy. Nice call on Doge 2, holding up exceptionally given altcoin landscape. Yeah, Dogecoin has been also excellent. Like, it's the two coins that I said. I like XRP and Doge. Obviously ETH as well, but that's underperforming, but that's not a surprise. All right, so Bitcoin, decent. Cannot really hate on this. It's a strong as fuck chart. And until it gives good indication to be bearish, I'm just not gonna be. On the ETH front, like the high time frame still more than fine. The weekly time frame actually retested our 2.9K support level that we kept talking about on the show as the entry to get. Anyone that did get it got the peak or low and is now 20% richer, which is quite nice. So yeah, I think just generally this would start looking quite bad, and this is confidence. Like this is how sometimes I look at the market like this, where I'm like, yeah, Bitcoin could, like as we talked about, this could be a lower high and we could wash out and everything. But I generally think the market should be going up, right? So I'm like, there's always a possibility that this just fails and goes down. But if that happens, right, the bullish setup on ETH actually gets invalidated, because then I think ETH would make a new low below 2.9K. And I think that'd be just bad news generally. So I think it's less likely to happen that Bitcoin has like a proper washout, just because ETH had the perfect kind of like entry here and the perfect signal of sorts. So basically, if Bitcoin breaks down, ETH would invalidate this, and then I think it would take longer to repair, and I don't think that would necessarily make sense in the current landscape. So right now, I think like that should be the low. You don't really want to see it go lower than that. So anyone that bought the low, it's a nice entry because it's basically the stop loss, right? Like lower than that, it looks like shit. So yeah, I have a risk-free trade of sorts right now, which is nice. Me, I didn't add. I just held. I did not add. I've just been busy doing XRP things, which has been the better choice, to be fair, but still. You're so skilled at saying nothing in a lot of words. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It's just how it is, huh? I mean, when I have a bullish setup, I say a lot in very few words, but like if I have a trade, but right now, I mean, I'm just holding the trades that I already have, right? So basically, I mean, nothing's guaranteed. Like, and this is the thing, right? And this is why you might think this. Nothing's guaranteed in trading, and I'm never gonna say I'm just not the type to do it. Like, this is gonna go up when I think it's gonna go up, because it's not guaranteed, right? Like, this is bullshit. I can say like, hey, I think this is gonna go up, which I did, but then obviously you'd be like, this is not straightforward enough. But that's just how the world is. Like, this is like a poker player telling you that they will guaranteed win with a good hand, right? Like that poker player must be shit. Like that's not how it is. Like you can always lose, even if you have the best hand in the world. And therefore you might think like, hey, why is he not speaking in absolutes? And the reason why is because there's just no absolutes in trading. There is no 100% guarantee. So, do you see the market give us a pullback? I mean, I don't think it should. That's my whole argument here with ETH touching 2.9, giving the perfect setup, with Bitcoin like testing range low and actually holding it, is that I think a pullback would invalidate a lot of this. So if you get a pullback, I think that actually be bearish. So you would probably not want to buy the pullback. But I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong. But I mean, I'm just holding anyway. Got a decent entry in XRP at support during today's pump. Now let's hope for enough climb above $3. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Huh? It's up 10% today. Quite chad. I will talk about it in a second. So yeah, all in all good. I think it should go up to make the people that want me to be more clear in the chat happy. I think it should go up, but I'm not guaranteeing you that it will. Same with ETH. We retested 2.9. Now I think we should at worst be consolidating. But this triangle is filled out too much. I think like in the next couple of weeks, like that's as far as I want to see it fill out. Like if it fills out like all the way up here, Jesus Christ, that's awful. I think in the next couple of weeks we should see this conclude, hopefully to the upside. That'd be good. Can't ETH touch the triangle and then go up? Yeah, but like look, if it pulls back harder, right? If it pulls back harder and goes here, one, you kill market structure because this is a range, and this is a false breakdown, right? Inside of a larger like consolidation pattern. But that's like the important part here, right? Like you had a range, you had a false breakdown, and now you retested the boundary of the range. And you bounced. And if you fall back down here and retest this triangle, you start invalidating the range, right? So you have like a bullish setup because you're at the triangle support, but you invalidated the more bullish setup, which is the range reclaim. So it's more bearish at that point, which is bad news. This is why like for weeks I've talked about 2.9. Like I knew like you really don't want to retest the triangle down here. Now, if we're talking longer term, like if it does something like this, that's okay, right? But I don't think this should be touched again. That's the range load. You don't want to have that lost. Okay, I think that is straightforward enough. But yeah, so Bitcoin looks good. ETH looks good. ETH BTC looks sad, but it looks like it might hold the monthly, which would be nice, right? This is the only thing that I want ETH to do, is close green this month. Can you look at Doge? Yeah, we will. XRP, the best, surprise, not surprise. I mean, kind of expected it, but still surprising how strong it is. That we've gotten. I mean, I've been posting this since 0.6, and it is now at $3. So that's a solid 5x, which is quite nice. And I think it can go quite a bit higher still, which is even better. Do you think XRP flips ETH? Yes, I think so. I think there's a very, very high chance that happens. So yeah, I mean, it's just insane. Like we talked about this when it was down here, right? Like on stream, I was like, this is insane. It's an insane chart. Like you have straight line up and a tiny, tiny correction. People get too zoomed in, right? Like they look at this, look, they look here. And then they're like, oh God, like it made a high, it made a lower high, it's breaking down. And I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is insane. It had 5 insane weeks, and then it pulled back basically 1 week of that price action, and now it's bouncing, right? Like, that's insane. Best looking chart in crypto right now in the large caps, like 100%. And I mean, just generally insane. Now, let me go to the higher time frame chart. This is my higher time frame chart, and we're kind of approaching resistance, but this is a little bit of bullshit resistance. Like, I don't think this matters too much. The $3.30 resistance, the prior all-time high. If anything, I think we're gonna smash it. It's gonna be, the reason why I have it on my chart is because if we break above it and come back below it, then it starts being relevant. As a resistance, I don't see it as too relevant. I don't really, like, this was, like, if I wanted to make like an argument, like, this was the resistance, right? And we just blasted through it. Like, I don't care about the wick too much. That was illiquid price action of 2018. So I don't really care too much that we're approaching high time frame resistance. Generally, we haven't had any pullbacks on the high time frames, right? Like, no consolidation, no pullbacks. It's just up, straight up. But the weekly is good enough for me for that. So just looks good. Next real resistance, I think, is something in the 5s to 6.9. It's just because it's a meme number and XRP is a meme coin. I swear these Ripple criminals bought Trump. They ate beef, whatever the fuck. I do not speak. I do not speak fancy with him. Yeah, they did. They fucking did. Not 420. I mean, 420 you can also look at, like 426.9, and then obviously the moment it starts getting into the higher digits, it's very good as resistance. But right now, like, I'm just chilling. I don't really see a good reason to be too bearish on this, especially with a weekly like this. Like, this is just a ridiculous chart. Like, no one can tell me that this is not just insane. Looks like this. Like, straight up just looks like we did this. Like, this move up here. Right? And the pullback. And now we're going to get, like, the second expansion. Like, that's how it looks like to me. Now, obviously, the market cap of XRP is ginormous. So, probably not. Like, because this still 5x'd. 6x'd afterwards, which I don't necessarily think XRP is gonna do anytime soon. I think like a 2 to 3x is as high as I could see it go in the short term, but we'll see. Generally, I think the USD chart, besides that it's just hilariously bullish, it's not really that useful. The BTC chart is more interesting because you actually have levels there left, right? We are just kind of moving through. So we had a bunch of consolidation here, right? We're moving through that area, and we're going, like, we're kind of on the way upwards. And I think like the next resistance is like 150, 160% away. So if Bitcoin does well, XRP has like I think a 2 to 3x left until it hits like major resistance. The crypto influencers are all the same. People are so upset with my XRP stance. Like, let me get this straight. Like, I don't like XRP. I don't like the people behind XRP. But I don't really care too much. It's a trade, right? Like, I bought this at support when everyone was hating on it. And now it's gone up. And I think it can go up higher. Therefore, I'm holding and I'm trading it. This is one of the most unpopular trades that you could put on. So like, I don't really give a fuck. People get so upset about this. I don't know why. I think generally when people stop getting upset with the XRP thing, then it might be time to take some profits. So I don't know. I don't really see why people are so upset. It's just the coin going up. And the thing is, the reason why I think, and I mean, this is stupid and this is not my preferred way for this to go, right? But I think Trump can easily be, like, for me, right? And this is besides my personal feelings about Trump, right? Trump is the first cycler in crypto, right? Like, it's not like he's been in crypto before. And if you think back to your first cycle, if you've been around for a little bit, right? 2017, whatever. Like, what was the coin everyone fucking loved? And it's XRP. Like, everyone that goes through their first cycle loves XRP because they don't really understand what crypto is about. Like, no one understands it until they've gone through one cycle where they get the truth beaten into them, right? And I mean, it's just like anyone that goes through their first cycle will get stuck up on XRP and be like, hey, dude, like crypto, which is a little bit shady, coupled with banking and suits, like, fuck yeah. Like, that takes shadiness out of it and gives me like a little bit of legitimacy. And fuck yeah, I want to have that, right? And until they realize like the suits are the biggest criminals. But you don't realize that in your first cycle. And I think Trump can be fooled on that front. So, and if that happens, and if they get tighter with the whole XRP people, if there's one thing that I know about the Ripple guys, is that they know how to fucking pump a coin. And it has caught a lot of people by surprise, this move. Not me, because I've been around. I was around for 2017. I saw them pump it. And I can see them do it again. So that's kind of how I think about it. Could be the top for all I know, but that's just kind of my reasoning. And I think if Bitcoin continues to go and do well, XRP is probably going to be one of the coins that does the best. Just because they present themselves the most serious out of any crypto. Like, look at Vitalik, right? And I love the guy, but I mean, try to tell your boomer parents or whatever that they should invest in a coin run by someone that runs around in a unicorn shirt and whatever, poses with Mudeng. Like, it's just not how it is. Like, I mean, and then you have XRP people running around in a suit, and I mean, that's easier, right? And then they parade their banking relationships and the connection with Trump, and then you're kind of like, I mean, this seems kind of like a safe bet. I generally think they have the perfect storm going for them. It just depends on the market staying up or not. And if the market stays up, I think they're gonna execute it. You're literally still spending time responding to a troll. No one's upset about XRP. Oh, it's you actually, right? Like, no, everyone is like, look at my Twitter, dude. Like, people are fucking upset. On YouTube, maybe a little bit less, but on Twitter, people are fucking upset. It's because they don't own it, I guess, and it's gone up. But yeah, that's my reasoning for XRP. I genuinely think like the chart looks insane. The narrative fits it perfectly. Low time frame, you would want to see 2.7 hold. This is a nice breakout. You want to see that hold, because if you had a false breakdown here, you don't want to make a false breakout happen here. That'd be not so great. Is there anything that would invalidate your XRP trade? I mean, it going down a bunch, yeah. I think this is a trade that just needs to go up. I think XRP is going to go up forever until it goes down. People are going to wait for a pullback. And then when they get it, they're going to buy it and they're going to be buying the top. What's the ETH target? So if ETH breaks out, right? Excuse me, I'm still a little bit sick. If ETH breaks out, I think like anything like 6, 7, 8K would make sense. So if it breaks out of this triangle. But I'm very conservative on that front. Look at ETH BTC. I did already. It's really only the monthly that there's anything interesting there. Someone asked for Doge. I have multiple charts for Doge. This is the one that I personally use. This is the one that I troll people with. The one that we have right now. So this is the one that I posted on Twitter when we visited this monthly support, and we've been bouncing from it. And I generally think Doge looks decent, unless it loses this, which obviously this is a big range, right? But given the target is $1, I think that's decent enough. So Doge looks good. It hit support. I tweeted about that, like when it did. Bounced a bunch and still looks good. Nothing really to say. The daily looks excellent. Like this is a really good chart. Made a low, retested it, coming back up. Like you want to see something like this just generally. Like look, yeah, somewhat of a range, but what we're seeing is that it's basically like price action looks like this, right? So we had this drift up, it failed, it broke to the downside, it retested and broke down, but couldn't make a new low, and is now kind of pushing back into this resistance here. And I mean, obviously this is not the best place for it, right? Like to take risk, but I think if it reclaims 0.39, just starts looking insane fast, right? Like 0.4 plus, it's basically the reclaim of this. And yeah, I think the reason why it was so weak is the same problem that Bitcoin had, where there was no real support because it just went up in a straight line and people freaked the fuck out. But now it looks quite good to me on high and low time frames. Retested monthly support. The daily looks decent. The weekly is kind of like whatever. Not much to say about that. So yeah, and Doge BTC, same story. Retested support, bounced. Nothing to tell. Like nothing to say about these. They're very, very simple. Like this is just a simple support retest, and I think that's as simple as you can make it. Good thing is now if you bought this, and I tweeted about it that it was a good trade when it was happening. Like if you bought this at 0.26, 0.27, whatever, I really, really think you should not go back below here, right? So like if you bought here when I tweeted, I think your invalidation is now quite a bit above your entry. But I could be wrong on the invalidation. You get stopped out at the bottom if it kind of keeps on ranging. But that's kind of where I think, like that's how I would manage the trade on Doge. I thought the target for Doge is 4.2. I mean, you can do it. Like it depends on how crazy the market goes, realistically, for all these kind of targets, right? Like the same with XRP. Like I could see XRP go to $10 if the market goes completely insane. Only briefly. I don't think it would maintain, but like I could see that, like if Trump does dumb shit and a lot of money funnels into crypto real fast, like short-term price action is not real, right? Like basically, like you can have short-term, you can have an asset go and just be ginormously big because you have a lot of people buying and very little selling. And then you get something like this, right? So XRP, for example, back in 2017, let me get a longer time frame chart. The fully diluted value of XRP during this high in 2017 here, 2018, starting like end of 2017, start of 2018, the full, like the FDV of XRP was bigger than the value of Bitcoin. Like that was like 10% higher than the price of Bitcoin. That's obviously insane, right? But short time, like a week or two, you can hold an asset up for much higher than you think. It's just not real. And then obviously if it's completely insane prices, you have to sell during that time. It's just like, look, XRP was insane already at 0.6. And then the next week it was trading at 1. And then the next week it was trading at 2. And then it was trading at 3. Right? So if you sold 0.6, it's like if you sold down here. Right? Like that fucking sucks. And that's how these things go when they go parabolic. Right? Basically unreal valuations, but they're just short term. You have a lot of buyers, very little sellers. You have a lot of hype going in. And then like they maintain for like a week or 2 or 3, and then everything's over. So I think like if we get into a regime like that, you can have insane prices, right? Like insane prices in a lot of these coins, but just very, very short term. Same as here, right? It took only 4 weeks for it to go back to 0.5 after having hit 3.2, 3.3. And I think the same would be true like if XRP sends to 690 or like even higher, if it goes completely crazy, you're gonna have like 2 or 3 weeks later, you're gonna have it back at $3 or $2. So yeah, that is very hard to predict. This is why like the guy that said like, hey, I think Dogecoin, the target is 4.2, like 420. Like if the market goes completely insane, like maybe for a very, very short amount of time. I don't think so, but always possible. Thoughts on Capo being fully invested into crypto now? It's a little bit scary, but then again, he missed out on basically 16K to 100K and a bunch of altcoins going to infinity. So generally Capo, right? Like how this works. And I've made the chart about this. So Capo, like the price does this and then goes up and then goes back down, right? So this is the Capo indicator. Capo is going to turn bearish here and he's going to be right for a while, maybe even like this, right? So he's going to be turning bearish down here and he's going to turn bullish up here, or like let's say like this. So the last like 10, 15, 20% like time wise of the move, Capo's actually usually like right, and then people are like, holy shit, Capo's right, like he's such a genius. And I don't know why he does this, if he does this on purpose or not, but basically like 90% of the move he's wrong, and then the last 10% time wise he flips and turns the other way, and then it goes he's bullish here, it goes higher, people are like, holy shit, it's so bullish, even Capo's right, and then it nukes, and then he's bullish for the entire way back down until almost the bottom, where then he's right again for a while, and then it reverses and goes back up. It's magic. I've seen it cycle after cycle. The guy has been around. Like people don't realize the guy has been around for a while. He's done this just cycle after cycle consistently. Very, very Chad. Broken clock is right twice a day. Yeah, I mean, basically he flips in the last stages of the market. But that doesn't mean that it's immediately nuking after or immediately bottoming after. Basically, Capo, I can show this on the Bitcoin chart. Capo was bearish like the entire way up here and then flipped bullish somewhere here, right? Targeting like 200K. And then he was right, like 45 to 60K. I mean, that's a good move, right? Even went to 70K and he was bullish. And then he flipped bearish here, like aggressively here. And then the market, like he was like bearish until here, bullish from here to down here. And then he was bearish from here all the way down, all the way back up, and is now bullish again. It's very, very impressive. But yeah, that's what it is. No one really cares about him anymore. Anyway, he used to be very, very followed. He was a much bigger account than me during the downturn. Don, you mentioned retiring from trading, just investing, but are you and Cred retiring from streaming? We haven't talked about it. No, I don't think so. Not anytime soon. Don, nice seeing you for the first time live. I'm your fan, watching your videos every time. Best of wishes, brother. You taught me a lot from newbie to pro in prediction on a high time frame. Love to hear it, man. Thanks for coming by. We get it. Capo is stupid. No one cares. No, this is not what this story is about. This is generally how sentiment works quite well. And you need the point of that story was not Capo is a retard. It's don't just because you have a counter indicator, they are usually right for a while, and don't just take it as Capo is bullish. Therefore, we're gonna nuke. He can be bullish and it can go up for a little bit. And your counter indicator or your mom can call you and be like, hey, let me buy Bitcoin. And then it still goes up the last 50%. Like it goes from 100 to 150K and you sold 100 and you buy back 150 because you're like, fuck, I sold because my mom called me. But now it's much higher and it's going to go to infinity. And then you bought that absolute peak up top, right? Like that's the point of the story. I don't know if I made that clear enough. People are too obsessed with counter signals. So not long left of this bull market then. I mean, I would assume we're in the end stages, yeah. You think XRPL memes are still undervalued? I mean, when I talked about them, they were at 25, the biggest one was a 25 million market cap. They're now at 100 million market cap. I generally think if XRP does what I think it does, and if retail goes crazy over it, anything on XRP is gonna go wildly higher. But if I'm wrong in that, you're holding something that's actually just straight up going to zero, right? So take it with a grain of salt. I think it's a decent bet if you think that retail is gonna go crazy over XRP. But for that, you have to have more retail come in. I have a friend who's a cowboy indicator, but better. He always buys exact local tops and sells exact local bottoms on the daily. I mean, that's useful if you can make use of it. Can you speak a few words German? I can't really imagine you doing it. Was genau willst du wissen? It's always hard to come up with words when someone asks you to say some words. Cred does that every time we have a stream together, and he asks me hey, can you say some stuff to kind of check the noise levels and everything? And I'm just like, what the fuck am I supposed to say, dude? Which is then something that I said, which is enough. But yeah. The first time you mentioned XRP memes, Army was 90 million. Either way, Army to billions. I mean, the first time I mentioned it, I was like, this exists, what the fuck? And then the second time I mentioned it, I was like, this is undervalued, which was at 25 million, which is, I think, I bought a bunch of XRP memes just for fun. We talked about this on the stream, just roughly my average, a little bit higher than that, but not much. What are your thoughts on Ansem as a trader? I mean, he predicts all directions and then he's right on some of them. Don't really care much about his opinion as a trader. He's a good marketer and a good person to take advantage of people that follow him. That's what I think about him. Hi Don, any entry still for XRP or too late? It's really, really hard. Really, really hard. That's why I tweeted the last couple of days about it, because I was like, this is still a good entry, but now it's breaking out. You're putting me in a really awkward spot, because as anyone that has watched this channel for a while knows, is I fucking hate breakout trading, and this is a breakout trade. So if you're buying here, you're betting on the breakout materializing and everything sending, and then it could be right, but it could also be the fake out before this ranges more. So that's basically a breakout trade. And if it goes back down, it looks much less bullish than than it was before. So it's less good of a trade than it was at the range lows before. So it's tough. You kind of have to kind of make up your mind whether you want to breakout trade this thing or not. If you do, I mean, then it just broke out today. Maybe there's some juice left. I sure hope so. I haven't sold a bit, but it's a breakout trade at this point. And I fucking hate those, so don't ask me for advice. There's 500 people here and 2 likes. Hit the like button, damn it. I totally understand. I never like anything on YouTube ever. Like never. So I will never ask anyone to do it. Because I just personally just never do it myself. So that's that. Solana, someone asked me for. I shall heed that request. He said I shouldn't bear talk it. I cannot really do anything else on the monthly, right? Like this monthly, not that great, but, and this is the big but, if we cross it and close above 210, it starts looking quite good really fast. Right now, it looks like it's a bearish false breakout into bearish retest, but if it closes back above here, I mean, that just looks really good. And then 300, 400 doesn't seem too far-fetched. So depending on your risk appetite, maybe you can bet on this breakout materializing in the future. Right now, not so great, but honestly not that bad. Like just generally, like it's a little bit like ETH. Right, where it's like, I mean, it's worse setup wise, but I think if ETH goes up, Solana probably goes up too, right? So you're kind of in the same boat as ETH. I think ETH and Solana are very similar now generally. Old coins gonna be outperformed by newer coins or other coins that have better narrative, but still probably do well if the market goes up. XRP holders are waiting for 1 XRP to cost as much as Bitcoin. They're never selling. I mean, that's the good part about XRP, right? Like 90% of the holders, they've held for 50 years. Now they buy more because it goes up, because I mean, that's what you do, right? And then they just never, like the targets are like 200. They shill it to their friends that it's going to 200 too. I mean, it's just, it's just excellent. Obviously not great for the bag holders at the end of it, right? But as a trader, I'm like, I mean, fuck yeah, be on my side. What stops you from entering something like hype if you're overall bullish versus XRP? I'm not bullish hype over XRP. I think XRP is like one of the most bullish things that we have right now in the market. I could be wrong on that one though, but I mean, I like XRP better than anything else on a risk to reward ratio. And that could be misguided. Like I said, I mean, this is 5x up from where I first was interested in it. But to me, the potential of the entire, like I think the entire American retail can basically be herded into XRP if they play their cards right and if Trump plays ball, right? And that potential is quite large. Now, if that's going to happen or not, who the fuck knows? But yeah, that's kind of like my idea for that play. I think it could be one of the ones that just kind of sucks up all the liquidity everywhere. Same as Solana did early in this run. So, do you think Elon will do anything for Doge, or is that exhausted? I think that's one of the reasons why it's outperforming. Just generally, I don't dislike the Doge chart. I think it's quite good, and that is something that will help other memes, right? Like with, for example, it's up 10, 12%. It's bouncing. It's one of the weakest coins out there, but it's bouncing a bunch, and I think it's basically because you have like good Dogecoin price action, and people see this chart and they're like, this can go up, and if this can go up, my WIF can go up too, and then they buy WIF, and then they buy Popcat, and I think that's the reason for it, and it's not the worst idea. Like, I'm not hating on memes right now. Like, I commentated on like this weakness on all the way down. I was like, this is not how it's supposed to be. Like, there's not a strong, like the moment it broke this, I was like, this is not a strong coin, and everyone keeps bull posting, and then it just nuked. Same with WIF, where I was like, it's just like you had the listing, and then like price action was shit immediately after. Like, that's not what you want, and then it nuked. But now that I like Doge, I like these better as well. Now, I don't think you should necessarily be buying memes generally. Those are very short-term trades. But when I like Doge, like when I'm like, okay, I have a bullish Doge setup, I'm not bearish other things. Like, I wouldn't be sitting out here shorting something like WIF or Popcat while being bullish Doge, unless it's a pair trade where I'm like, okay, I have way too much Doge and I think Dogecoin is just generally not going to zero, whereas other memes are. So yeah, XRP just crossed $3. Fuck yeah, let's go. We're getting rich. Yeah, it's just insane. Such an insane chart. XRP is going to 8 all-time high during the stream. Yeah. How about Pepe Duck? I like. There's two memes that I like. Okay, and I actually hold none of them right now, and it's Dogecoin and Pepe. Those are the two memes I like. And if you, Dogecoin is Bitcoin of, like, just hear me out. Dogecoin is the Bitcoin of the meme world, right? And if Bitcoin goes up, generally altcoins do well too. So you look at Dogecoin, you figure out whether that's bullish or bearish, and then you can play the memes, like the ones that you like or dislike, based on that. Obviously, good chance you're just gonna get outperformed by the Bitcoin of the meme world, which is Dogecoin, which has happened quite a bit, right? Like Bitcoin has outperformed a lot of altcoins. Same is true for Dogecoin, has outperformed a lot of meme coins, right? But sometimes you can choose your gains by trading something else. So that's that. I think that's enough for today. I'm gonna call it a night. But I appreciate you guys coming by. Much love to Wu for sponsoring the show. Really appreciate it. Their links are in the description. And yeah, hope it helped. Hope I'm not chilling everyone into the Pico top of XRP. I mean, I did chill it at 0.6, so I think I'm forgiven even if this is the Pico top. But yeah, much love to you guys. Hope you're having an excellent week, and we'll see each other or hear from each other Friday. Bye-bye.